How's it going, YouTube? Today I decided to do something a little different, and instead of you hearing me drone on for about 8 to 10 minutes, I'm going to let a couple other YouTubers do the talking for me. Now, this is going to be about the California wildfires that happened in 2017, circa 2018. There is something suspicious, to say the least, about how these fires burned, and I'm going to let you come up with your own conclusions. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started.
In this video, I'm going to prove why I believe that the fires in Los Angeles recently were caused by directed energy weapons. And one of the things that the people that are perpetrating these crimes count on is people's apathy. This information is readily available, but it's buried in a sea of information and disinformation. And they count on people not taking the time to do this homework. And so I'm going to put together and show you why I believe, even though these fires were different than Santa Rosa, they were orchestrated nonetheless. I mean, they had to do something a little different, considering that everybody was on their tail pointing out the inconsistencies in the fires in Santa Rosa. And if you think it's science fiction, think again. Let's learn a little bit about what's available.
Operationally, it works just like a laser pointer. There's a chamber inside with special materials that release photons.
If you're looking at a boat coming in over the water, you can target exactly the engine and take out exactly the engine and not necessarily damage anything else. So, and that type of precision weapon work is something that you don't really get with conventional weapons, because there tends to be more collateral damage.
It's useful against a variety of threats, surface or air. It's not a niche weapon system like some other weapons that we have, throughout the military, where it's only good against air contacts or it's only good against surface targets.
So you have to understand that they hide a lot of the available technology. So as much as we're seeing here, they have 100 times more, and they've had it for 100 years before now. Here you're going to see some drone patterns, an unidentified drone flying over the area of the fires in Los Angeles recently. That these were picked up by one of my subscribers and sent to me, so that you can see that there's a lot of pieces that we couldn't see at the time, that now that it's over, we can put more of these pieces together to get the image. So when you learn about the characteristics of normal fires and you start to study the images being picked up from these recent fires, you're going to see that they have a lot in common. They have a lot of characteristics, including a tree burning from the inside, which can only happen with a lightning strike or a directed energy weapon.
A haunting but mesmerizing scene from the wildfires in Sonoma County. A man came across this tree burning from the inside out. Matthew McDermott was driving around looking for escape routes as multiple fires closed in on the area he was in. The tree appears to be hollowed out by embers and flames.
So the two biggest things we need to get out to people is, number one, that there are Luciferian psychopaths in charge of this earth and the wealth, and number two, the technology that they have available that the common person is not aware of.
It's an unmanned vehicle versus energy, and energy wins. It's called directed energy, and the device delivering the focused firepower is Boeing's compact laser weapons system. The key to Boeing's compact laser weapons system is to focus energy on a spot small enough to heat up and damage a target.
Think of it like a welding torch being put on target, but from many hundreds of meters away.
The compact laser recently demonstrated its pinpointed precision in an exercise in Point Mugu, California. The system disabled an unmanned aerial vehicle at a tactical range. This is a look at the laser at work in real time. The focused laser takes down the UAV in seconds.
Once we turned the laser on, it was about 15 seconds until the drone was clearly disabled.
During previous tests in rugged terrain, the compact laser tracked and lased a tethered UAV. Watch the silent, invisible laser suddenly ignite the vehicle.
If you were on the receiving end of laser energy, you would have no idea where it was coming from or what was even happening.
It's made up of 4 parts: a water-cooled chiller, battery power supply, a fiber laser, and an upgraded beam director. The redesigned beam director helped the system shed unwanted pounds.
First prototype to this system, we shed about 40% of our weight, which basically means that we can move it easier, and also the motors are capable of driving the system faster.
The compact laser system has a 2-kilowatt laser, and much like its bigger cousin, the High Energy Laser Mobile Demonstrator, or HELMD, one person can operate both systems. And like the name implies, the compact laser system touts portability.
It's 4 boxes with very simple interconnects.
While lasers have long been the staple of science fiction, the technology is on the brink of becoming battlefield ready.
They're able to engage targets. Boeing has an edge in this since we've been working lasers for tens of years.
One of the most common things I've heard is, it's an arsonist, or it's fire season, it's windy season. That does not cause this. Anybody seriously interested in the pursuit of investigating the reality of these fires cannot be blind to the fact that it's not an arsonist. It's not a crazy person. That's the biggest thing that they like to blame. It's some crazy person that just happens to like to start fires, and it happens to be in dry season. That is not the truth. That's a story perpetuated by the media. Directed energy weapons is a $24 billion project right now. $24 billion.
Well, hi you guys. I wanted to make this video for one simple reason. I've been covering this fire for just about 2 weeks now, I guess is how long it's been burning. These various fires, the Thomas being the largest of the fires. And I wanted to do this video because nobody else that I could find is talking about it. And while everybody is looking at the structures and the vehicles and the properties and the businesses and all the destruction of these wildfires, I'm looking at something else. I'm looking at how clean the streets and roads are in these totally burned out neighborhoods. How is it that a raging so-called wildfire fueled by Santa Ana winds that are blowing in excess of, and I've heard several reports of wind speeds from anywhere from as low as 35 mile per hour all the way up to 85 mile per hour on up. I've even heard people talk about hurricane force winds. Well, anybody that's been in a hurricane knows that those speeds of winds blow crap all over the place. I mean, hurricanes will blow large boats right into the roads, flip vehicles over. A lot of people saying that the flipped vehicles in these fires are due to the winds, yet the streets of these burned out neighborhoods and plazas and parking lots and dead-end turnaround loops are as clean as if a van load of circus monkeys jumped out with brooms and leaf blowers and cleaned the entire streets throughout these burned out neighborhoods. Now, if you're having winds that extreme with homes burnt to the ground, where are all the embers? Where is all the ash? Where is all the debris? Where is all the garbage cans and the downed tree limbs and the garbage and the junk and everything blown into the streets? I don't see it. California streets are mighty tidy and very clean. Almost pristine, you could say. I don't see any debris in any photos that I search under Google Images anywhere. Anywhere. And these photos speak volumes. I see no debris in the roads at all, and there should be all kinds of crap in the roads and in the streets and in the parking lots and in driveways. If the winds are so great, blowing these massive fires out of control, where is all the debris from these massive piles of burned out homes? I mean, look at the photo of this woman. This homeowner obviously lost her home, and she's looking over the devastation of what she lost. But notice how nice and clean her walkway is, and her patio, and how neatly the stones of the edging along the concrete sidewalk is so tidy. Not a single speck of anything on that sidewalk. Notice the bricks, how clean. Everything is spotless, but where the homes sit. So you guys tell me what I'm missing. Am I wrong? Am I totally not seeing something here? But every picture that I look at, one right after another, all the streets and driveways and parking lots and everything are as if they were totally cleaned by a street sweeper before an upcoming parade. What is up with that?
Are they actual real wildfires? How are they actually being caused? We're going to go over that, and I'm going to share with you the real truth behind it. Now this just gives you a before and after picture of the Santa Rosa, California area. Right here is the before picture and right here is after. And if you actually scroll this way, you can see a full picture of it before. And then if you scroll back this way, as of October 9, 2017, you can actually see a glimpse of the after shots right here, and you can see all of the debris and the rubble that was left afterwards. But there's something very interesting and suspicious indeed to note about this one specific area alone. Now, there have been plenty others that have noted some of these anomalies when it comes to the supposed wildfires in these regions, but I would like to bring it up once again so you can see also what's really going on and see the real culprits for who they really are and what they're really doing as if we already do not know. Now, here is more aerial footage of the Santa Rosa, California area. Now, as you can see right here, there's a lot of debris that's left over from houses, but the better question is, when you really take a look at this clearly, where are the houses? Where did they go? And I'm going to continue showing you all of the snippets of the damage from Santa Rosa, as you can see right here from the houses. But if you pay very close attention to this, you start to see something that's very interesting and suspicious indeed. And what you start to notice is that look at all of these trees, how they are left intact from the wildfires. Again, pay attention to all of the houses, how they are all the way burned down to the ground, but yet there are still trees that are left intact as if they haven't been burned at all. And the reason for this is because this is not caused by a normal wildfire. This is not caused just by any wildfire. There is something else that is going on. There's something else that is brewing and surfacing behind all this. Yes, there is damage done, and yes, there was a fire that was done and committed, but the question becomes, how was this done and how was this perpetrated? Because your mainstream media is not telling you the truth as usual. Now, once again, here is another snapshot showing you the Santa Rosa, California area. As you can see, all the organic matter remains. Some of the trees still left up remaining and aren't actually burned all the way down. But you can see, where did all of these houses go? There are no more houses whatsoever. There's little to no rubble that's left over the houses whatsoever, and little to no building remains in these photographs that are taken here. Is this something that should concern us? Yes, it should. And we know that HAARP is behind this, and this is something we need to harp on, because I'm telling you, this goes much deeper than we think. This is not just your ordinary wildfire. And I'm going to prove that to you in just a moment to come. But once again, take a real close look at this. All of the houses are pretty much burned all the way down, but yet some of the trees, they still remain intact. The organic matter still remains. What is this really a result of? Now, there is also something else I wanted to note, because a man also took a photograph of this and captured a video of a tree being hollowed out by the fire in Shelbyville, California as of October 9th, 2017. But look very closely at this tree and pay careful attention to it, because in a normal, ordinary wildfire, trees do not burn like this. There's obviously something else that's the cause and the main culprit of this, and one of the causes of this is what? Electromagnetic pulses, electromagnetic forces that are the cause of this high voltage frequencies, direct energy weapons, which we're going to be going over, because yes, your government has contact with these things and they're able to enable these things to be used for man-made fires just like this. Now, before we go into the technological and also the physics behind what's going on in places such as Santa Rosa and Napa, California, I first wanted to do a comparison to really show you some of the differences. Now, this picture that you're currently looking at here, this comes from the neighborhoods that were from the Alberta wildfires that was as of last spring in the year 2016, as you can see right here from the Atlantic. And as you can see, there is plenty of rubble that was left over from these fires here. Here are some more pictures that show you the remains of a charred motorcycle in Fort McMurray as of the spring of 2016, and this comes from Alberta, Canada. That was as of last year. But compare that to the pictures that you see right here in Santa Rosa, and you see something that's very interesting and suspicious indeed. Now, this is just specifically for Santa Rosa, and you see for Santa Rosa there is what? Little to no rubble. Where did all of these houses go? Where are the houses? The current picture that you're looking at right now comes from CNBC from an article entitled Apocalyptic Images from the Deadly Fires in Northern California. As you can see, this is a result of one of them, but if you pay close attention and look at these cars and even some of the rubble that it shows right here, it looks as though as if the cars have melted, as if it's been exposed to certain frequencies in radiation, as if it's been exposed to something. It looks as though they have been microwaved. Now take a close look at this car right here. As you can see from the rubble that was caused by the fire, you start to see that such rubble right here, as you can see right here and all over right here, this is not caused by your normal typical wildfire. This is caused by something else. You can see that parts and portions of the car look as though they've been melted somehow. We're trying to show you, and what we're trying to get you to see, is that this is not caused by just a normal, ordinary wildfire. No, there's more to this, and it just so happens that all of this is occurring weeks before the movie Geostorm is coming out, which is what? Geoengineered storms? Very interesting and suspicious indeed. And the same time as Trump makes that comment, calm before the storm with Eminem, just as we went over a few days ago. Yes, very interesting to note indeed. Now here I'm talking more about the different types of DEWs, or direct energy weapons, because that's the real cause of this. Your government is the culprit behind this, using all of this technology to cause these fires and to trigger fires like as the rubble that you saw in Santa Rosa, offering their own solution, but they're using different types of technology to do so, and now we're going to go over that. And first we're going to be going over some of the different types of direct energy weapons, or the DEWs, that are used, including microwave weapons and laser weapons that can be used to trigger certain fires the way that you're seeing them in California. Now this gives a brief list of the different types of microwave weapons that can be used. As you see right here, it says, although some devices are labeled as microwave weapons, the microwave range is commonly defined as being between 300 MHz and 300 GHz, which is within the RF range. Some examples of weapons which have been publicized by the military are as follows: the active denial system, which is a millimeter wave source that heats the water and the target skin and thus causes incapacitating pain. It is being used by the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory and Raytheon for riot control duty. So we already see that your government is already using these things and has been using such technology for even riot control methods. They also have what's called the Vigilant Eagle, which is an airport defense system that directs high-frequency microwaves towards any projectile that is fired at an aircraft. The system consists of Missile Detecting and Tracking Subsystem, or MDT, a command and control system, and a scanning array. The MDT is a fixed grid of passive infrared infrared cameras, or IR. The command and control system determines the missile launch point, and the scanning array projects microwaves that disrupt the surface-to-air missile's guidance system, deflecting it from the aircraft. Other types that they have include the Bofors HPM Blackout, the Effective Radiated Power, or the ERP, and also AESA radars that are mounted on fighter aircraft that have been slated as directed energy weapons against missiles. They also have what's called laser weapons, which is another direct energy weapon, or DEW, and what these weapons can do is that they can ionize the target path and then send a powerful electric current down the conducting track of ionized plasma, somewhat like lightning, and they function as a giant, high-energy, long-distance version of the taser or the stun gun. But what they can also do is they can emit high frequencies just like microwaves in order to cause certain fires to be started at pinpointed location, and they also use these frequencies to heat up these areas and locations. So not only are frequencies used for mind control tactics and operations, because they also have what's called extremely low frequencies and low frequencies that are used for such things, and we've also gone over that plenty of times in our cell phone tower videos, but they are also using them for what plans and purposes of man-made fires, just like we're seeing when it comes to California. And just as we've also gone over with proven government documentation to also prove it too, how your government is using chemtrails and can spray chemtrails in the air using all types of chemicals to cause diseases and trigger man-made clouds, well, guess what? They're also doing it with man-made fires too. Now, this gives more information about directed energy weapons, or DEW, where it says here, this chapter provides a basic description of what DEWs are and how they work. In their electronic warfare publication, the DoD, or Department of Defense, defines a directed energy weapon this way, quote, DE is an umbrella term covering technologies that produce a beam of concentrated EM energy or atomic or subatomic particles. It continues when it says, quote, a DE weapon is a system using DE primarily as a direct means to damage or destroy adversary equipment, facilities, and personnel. DE warfare is military action involving the use of DE weapons, devices, and countermeasures to either cause direct damage or destruction of adversary equipment, facilities, and personnel, or to determine, exploit, reduce, or prevent hostile use of the EMS through damage, destruction, and disruption. And that's exactly what your government and military did when it comes to what? California and the wildfires, for what? Not only problem, reaction, solution, but also to see how they can gather people, how long it would take to gather the evacuees from the man-made wildfires, but also for Operation Depopulation. The two basic types of DEWs include what we just went over, lasers and microwaves. Microwaves and lasers are both part of the electromagnetic spectrum. They're made of the same electromagnetic energy, which consists of light and radio waves. And we talked about how they can use these waves and frequencies to trigger these man-made fires.
What's up, friends? Max Milgram with a quick update for Wake Up News about the California fires. And I'm going to nuke these materials. That's some normal grass, some pine boughs, and some aspen leaves. You can see those leaves are already kind of dried out. It's fall here in Wyoming, where I'm reporting from. And I'm going to go for 2 minutes. I've already done these for about 30 seconds, but I wanted to start the video over again. And we're going to see if this stuff burns in the microwave. The reason being, we all know what happens if you put metal in the microwave, right? If you accidentally put like a fork or some aluminum foil in the microwave. Oh, a little noise coming out of there, but so far nothing's bursting into flames. And the reason I'm doing this is because out in California, with these fires, they call them wildfires, they call them forest fires, but really it seems like a lot more houses and cars are burning than forests. There are these really disturbing images of cars that are completely torched, where the glass is melted out and the wheels, the metal alloys of the wheels, often they use aluminum for wheels, is completely melted to the extent where there are literally pools of aluminum that ran down the street and have formed these weird little lakes of aluminum. And then right next to these vehicles, you'll see trees and other vegetation that still has foliage on it. So I've dropped a few images of that in there, but I want to showcase for you, as we've been in there for a minute and 10 seconds, that vegetation doesn't react in the microwave like, it's not going to burst into flames, it's not going to cause a bunch of sparks like you'd see if you put metal in the microwave. And what are cars made out of? Well, they're made out of various metals. Houses, of course, contain many metal appliances and metal fasteners like nails and screws and stuff. So we see all this footage of cars and houses that are completely obliterated while the vegetation nearby is totally fine. And it prompts the question, are directed energy weapons, microwave weapons, being used to cause these fires in California? We're almost done here cooking up this delicious little feast. Let's see what's going on. Food is ready. Here we go. Generally, I don't use the microwave for anything. So the grass dried out a little. Sorry, my hands are so dirty. I've been working in the yard. So the grass dried out a little. It's a little brittle, but you can see it's not hot. The pine bough, not hot either. The needles seem to have turned a little bit browner. And then the aspen leaves have wilted, but nowhere near ignition. Whereas we all know what happens when you put a piece of metal in the microwave. So, tell your friends, get the word out, raise awareness about this disturbing situation in California where all these wildfires seem to have started almost simultaneously on the night of the 8th going into the 9th of October 2017. And there's all this unusual video and photo evidence showing metal structures, houses with metal fixtures and metal fasteners, and cars that are totally obliterated, while nearby the vegetation seems relatively untouched. Get the word out. Your boy Mog signing off. One love. Peace.